Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, name of Caliban, and things are going to get weirder.
They sure are, and we're a couple of magical people ready to moon crystal power make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 90, Chikyu Hokai no Yokan, Nazo no Shin Senshi Shutsugen in Japanese. Premonition of the Apocalypse, the mysterious new guardians appear, the English translation, and the English title, Starstruck Bad Luck.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, right. So, yeah.
Oh, new titles.
Yeah, I know.
Save it. Let's talk about it later.
We will.
There's something I want to talk about first.
Yeah, go for it.
What percentage of noob am I still? If there's 5 seasons, we're 2 seasons down.
We are 2 seasons
So am
down.
I 60% a noob?
That feels pretty accurate.
Or if
to me.
noob is a rank and maybe you're going to graduate eventually to the next rank. I'm like a second Dan noob. I've got 2 stripes on my noob belt. It's like in karate.
I am so lost.
It's like in
but
karate.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
We'll give you another color belt. What color belt do you want to stand in for your next level?
Taupe.
Taupe?
It's always weird in Taekwondo, and like, let's face it, like I'm sure that ranks in martial arts have always existed.
Probably.
But currently they exist to keep a 10-year-old in this class, which costs $100 a month. Right? So that's why you gotta have. But I always thought it was funny that there's like 8 different colors of belts, and like, sure, black goes with everything, but like, what if I like green? Oh, yeah, this green belt's pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Just I want to stay here.
I
I feel like green's the best fit for me. It's like, don't you want to know the 5-finger palm death touch? No. I'm the green belt.
I'm sure there are some kids
Goes with my shoes.
that like,
and my eyes.
Yeah, that are like that and are like, no, this is my favorite color. I'm going to stick with this one. This is the one that makes me feel the most powerful and the most in control.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So maybe I'm a second level going on 3rd.
Okay.
Or maybe I am 3rd now because I won't be a 5th level. I'll be a master once the show's over.
You sure will, and you'll have to tell me how your newfangled system works.
Oh, I won't talk to you then.
Oh, okay.
No, there won't be any reason to.
Jeez.
Speaking
Okay.
of levels, there are 2 currently in our Patreon.
There sure are.
At patreon.com/Sailor Noob. And we want to welcome our newest Senshi to the bunch.
Yes.
Name of Ron.
Welcome, Ron.
Ron signed up like weeks ago, but of course we took a break and everything, and so we didn't get around till now when we're back, announcing that he's joined us at the Inner Senshi level, and as an Inner Senshi gets access to our animatification show,
Yes.
our Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon live recaps, and outtakes from the show and more, and you can do that too at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Yes.
I'm excited to be back doing Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon recaps.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoy watching that show, like, a lot. And I actually was reading something recently that was talking about, so people are talking about whether or not there should be a live action Sailor Moon movie. And if that would be a good idea or not. You know, it's something that Disney was looking to maybe do like early in the 90s. I don't know if we talked about this, but Deke, their parent company, was actually bought by Disney for like a short period in time.
Why they're like, oh, we got to get rid of this.
And so they were talking about maybe doing a live action Sailor Moon, and this is like, I swear I'd heard this, but I can't remember where, and I don't know if I can find this anywhere, but I swear I heard that Gina Davis was in talks to play Beryl.
You know, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah. So
This was years ago.
This was like
Yeah.
early mid-90s.
Jessica
So-
Chastain,
There you go.
right?
Yeah, sure.
She's the kind of person that can get nominations and do serious stuff, but then she'll just throw in
Just do
I'm in an
something
X-Men movie.
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted, a new house.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we'll
Why
get
the hell
her.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put her in the headdress and everything. I don't know about this. I'm getting real like Gem vibes off of this, or like Dragon Ball Evolution vibes.
You have to be really careful, right? Because I think Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon does it really well, even though it is like, it's a Super Sentai show.
Yeah.
But I think that they have a really good balance, and I like, a lot of the choices that they made.
We laugh at it, but maybe we should watch that Gem movie. Like, do they fight
I have
misfits in it or something? Like, what is it even?
I don't know if
because I just imagine they'll do that to this. Usagi Serena Johnson, wanted to be a TikTok star, but not all the tuckus shaking in the world couldn't save her from Jessica Chastain.
I know.
That's my pitch.
Well, when Viz redid the dub, they kept the Senshi's Japanese names. So
okay,
but a lot of fans.
It's so confusing for white children, though.
I know, right?
Well, we were talking about the Patreon, but anyway, yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
And I've been exploring Patreon, and I've discovered polls.
Oh yeah, amazing.
So I was thinking like we could like do a poll or something like that.
I think that'd be a great idea.
We produce regularly. We've always got a weekly show. But we can add something special every once in a while.
I think so.
And I don't know, maybe we'll find a way to do a poll or something, find out what the patrons want and want to see, and they can kind of decide, what we do or what watch or what we talk about.
Have a vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds
early
like
days
fun.
still, but we'll work on it. And of course, we're always talking to the fans, Discord. Or through messaging on Patreon. So if you've got any ideas, let us know.
Yeah, and we're always looking for anime to add to our anime list for animetification. And you can see, I think our list is on our Patreon.
Yeah,
so
it's a pinned post.
Yes.
I know what that is.
So you're doing well.
Now we know what polls are. Ironically, you could pin something to a poll and everybody would see it.
Well, I can't believe we are starting Sailor Moon S.
I know.
Season 3. Here we are.
I have to say that the movie helped.
Okay.
Because when we went from 1 to 2, I kind of worked because they had that question of, they lost their memories,
right.
They're going to come back or whatever. And so that kind of gets you into the second season because you want to answer that question.
Yeah.
And I remember that it was like a little gear grinding at the beginning of the second season. We were kind of like, let's get into this.
Yeah.
But going from the pretty good end of R, I didn't love the end of R, but I thought it was okay, to the movie, which kind of gets you into it. And it's like, all right, I'm just ready to just dive into S now. Let's do it.
I love that, even though, like...
It has nothing to do with... It doesn't set it up at all.
No, and it takes place, like, we think somewhere in the middle of R.
Yeah.
So,
I think it actually works out that... Because it came out in, like, December X, and the show ended on December Y. I guess I should flip those letters. X, then Y.
Whatever.
And so if you just were watching the show and then you went to the theater to see the movie, you'd be like, oh yeah, Chibi knows who they are now. And,
right.
And everything. So
okay,
and then you can come back home and then you just keep watching. R.
Yeah.
But nobody ever mentions the fact that this alien came down and like they had to save Earth from a meteor.
Well, I guess small spoiler, but like none of the movies like
no,
slot
yeah,
in.
Of course not.
So yeah. But geez, I guess it's time for a breakdown
I guess
of the
it is.
episode.
It's time to break down.
Yes.
Go ahead and do it.
Just do it.
We begin this episode with a brand new opening.
Yes.
And a new version of Moonlight Densetsu.
Yes.
Which I'll always have a special place in my heart for the original one, but this one's pretty rocking.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As this opening opens, we see the 5 Sailor Senshi. No, I won't do the bit. And they're all standing on some kind of ziggurat, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I gave up ziggurats. And they all, I'll be here all week. And they all fly away because they can fly now, maybe? I don't know. And
yeah.
We see our heroes in their civilian guises, but wait a minute. We also see 2 new guardians?
Question mark?
Or at least 2 girls in fuku outfits.
Mm-hmm.
One with green hair, gotta have green hair.
Yep.
And a short-haired blonde girl.
Yes.
And we also see Sailor Pluto, and we see Tuxedo Mask, and hey, it's Chibiusa.
Mm-hmm.
And we see the cats. Yeah, the cats.
The cats.
And then we see like a guy in what looks like a lab. And then we see a very young-looking girl with dark hair.
Yep.
And then it looks like a part of the city is on fire.
Yeah,
so questions are being asked. Yeah. Then we get my favorite part of the opening, which is just a montage of the Senshi kicking ass, and it looks great. And I've said it before, but the art just gets better and better as the series goes on. And it's weird because it's not like I've followed like individual creators, like in comics, somebody who's like writing and drawing their own book, and you watch them get better as they go.
Yeah.
But this is like, talented classic anime people worked on this show. So I don't know if they just got more money or got the okay to make it more individualistic, and to do more with it. But I think the look of the show has changed for the better, like a lot. I want to mention that Tadao Kubota was the art director for the first 4 seasons of the show.
Okay.
And he's a legendary guy who worked on Japanese animation. He worked on Rosa Versailles and Galaxy Express and Captain Harlock, Lupin the Third, Dragon Ball Z, and Saint Seiya. And it shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a catalog. I don't even know a resume. Like that's.
Well, they're like
insane.
4 guys working in the industry.
Right.
Well, maybe, but yeah. So it's pretty impressive.
It is.
Then we see Usagi come out of some kind of cup. It looks like an egg cup, but for a rich person. Actually, that's kind of redundant. Only rich people eat eggs out of egg cups.
Wow.
It's Jeff Bezos' egg cup.
What?
And she's naked, which is kind of her thing now. And she sprouts diaphanous wings, and it looks like she's got a new costume. Then we see her flying again with a million rainbow butterflies. So Sailor Moon says gay pride.
That's right.
Then we see a group pose at the end with the 2 new Guardians foregrounded, plus Usagi and Chibi in what looks like her own costume. And everybody else is like a mile in the back. They're not even, they're just like peeking around.
I know,
like,
right?
Hey, we're in this show too. Call my agent.
We've talked about this before, but anime doesn't care about spoilers.
Well, it's to set it up.
I know, but like
they do that in old they don't even do opening sequences in shows anymore, but like if you're going to watch an episode of Quantum Leap and it's the first episode of the series, they've already shot 6 of them, so it's like, oh, Sam's doing this. Oh, he's a pilot. Oh, he's playing basketball.
Right.
And so you're like, when's that going to happen? Spoilers for the basketball episode.
I guess that's the same sort of thing, but they do not care. Like, who are these characters? You'll find out.
That's the mystery.
Yeah, right.
We cut to a view of the Sailor Senshi, but they're awash in red light, and they look wrong. Their eyes are blank, they're colorless, like Greek statuary. And we hear this noise like Satan clearing his throat. It's like, and we see Rei, lifelike, she's alive.
Yeah.
And she looks to the horizon, which is churning with some kind of clouds, and between it and her are hundreds of people, all frozen like the Senshi. And Rei says, silence is approaching. Silence will fall.
Yeah.
She says, I can't win, as this wave of something dark sweeps towards her. She turns around and sees a large star, I guess. It looks kind of like the star you put on top of your Christmas tree. Come to think of it, there were 3 stars in the opening sequence, too.
There were.
Rei shields her eyes from the bright light of the star and says, are you the Messiah? Uh-oh. Sailor Moon is going Superbook.
Superbook?
Let me tell you about the greatest isekai of all, Jonah and the Whale.
Oh my God.
She doesn't get any answer on the Messiah thing. It's looking bad because this dark wave is destroying the entire city. The star becomes 3 stars. There you go. And they take off. And Ray's like, oh. And we see this rushing wave just chew through everything and tear apart the bodies of the other Senshi to Ray's horror. Title card.
I know.
And she wakes up with a start. Football practice. Or Miko practice. But really, it's exam practice. As she and the other girls are at Hikawa Shrine studying for their high school entrance exams. The girls ask her what's wrong. She says she's fine. Next to her, Usagi is head down, out cold, and she's snoring. And I think I just realized that the horrible sound in Ray's dream that you think is a monster is probably just Usagi snoring. No! I think that's what it is.
That's horrible.
Rei says, I had a strange dream. And Usagi says, I had a weird dream too. I dreamt I had to go to the hospital because I ate too much ice cream.
Never change, Usagi.
And Mama was there because he ate too many mooncakes.
Uh-huh.
Is that like moon pie?
It's actually, we'll talk to it about it when we get to,
Itadakimasu with
Itadakimasu with Usagi, but it's actually a Chinese, delicacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
The girls are like, yeah, that's great, but we need to study. How'd you do on your last exam? Not good.
No.
Ami says, you guys, we're in 9th grade now. And Minako says, and we're behind in our studies because of all of our battles. They say, don't regret the fish eggs from before. Here we go again. She has really outdone herself this time on this bit.
Yeah.
And Usagi's like, yeah, so true. But Ami's like, no, don't memorize that. No, it's no use crying over spilled milk. And Mina apparently has some drama with Artemis eating her fish eggs. I guess this is a problem.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine him, he likes fish.
Where are my fish eggs?
Yeah.
The banter continues, but Rei can't shake these images from her dream. We cut from tests to test tubes. Mm-hmm. We see hundreds of test tubes in a dark lab with what looks like culturing cells inside of them. Mm-hmm. And a man in a lab coat with round glasses is heating a test tube over a Bunsen burner with his bare hands.
I know.
This is a commitment to science. And he's laughing evilly. He pours the contents of the test tube into a beaker of green liquid, and the cell inside begins to change and grow, and the beaker shatters, and a pod-like egg rises up from it. And he says, Kauronite. And a red-haired woman in a lab coat steps out from the shadows. Mm-hmm. The scientist says, the demon egg has been completed. It steals the pure hearts of humans. Mm-hmm. So it's got that going for it.
Yes.
He continues, the holy grail that allows the holder to do anything they wish will appear when the 3 talismans are gathered together. The talismans are the crystallization of the pure hearts. When we have the talismans, the grail and the world will be ours. Everybody with me so far?
Yeah, right.
And then he laughs evilly. And as he says this, the egg rises into the air and goes out through a tube in the ceiling, and we see it emerge from a sewer grate on the street and fly into the night. And at the same time, the woman named Kauronite disappears and her lab coat floats to the ground.
Yes.
The next day, a screaming comes across the sky. Usagi has gotten her English test back, and she got 5 out of 100.
It's bad.
Ever bomb a test that bad?
No, I don't think I ever have.
I was always a good tester, but
yeah.
That's not great.
No.
She probably got her name wrong. And the teacher wrote a note saying, I beg you, please study more.
Yes.
And we have to talk about the content of this test, but we'll do it later.
We will.
Okay.
How about in trivia?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Usagi walks home dejectedly, not looking where she's going, and she thinks, Mom and Dad are going to be pissed. Oh boy, when Rei finds out. Well, that happens right now, because Rei is walking dejectedly in the other direction.
Yes.
And they bonk heads right into each other.
Yes.
Later in the park, they're running cold water over their head wounds, and Rei says, well, with a score like that, I mean, I can understand why you're upset. But you have a lot of good traits outside of studying, too. And Usagi's like, Rei's being nice today.
Yeah, right.
And we get this great touch. It happens a couple of times after this, but I'll just mention it this time. We see Rei's back. We can't see her face. But we cut quick to that red vision that she had before. We know exactly what's on her mind.
Oh.
Rei says, I want to be a singer-songwriter, model, voice actress, and a loving wife to someone I love. Oh, what did I just say? Oh. Okay, all right. We know that Rei is raysexual.
Right.
So I'm going to headcanon that she's just trying it on. I think that she's been thinking about her responsibilities. She's a psychic. She's a superhero.
Yeah.
She's had this horrible vision. And if she's going to die before any of those things happen, she's daydreaming about wanting those things. Mm-hmm. She's questioning her mission.
Yeah.
It's the Last Temptation of Rei.
Oh, come on.
Notice that she immediately turns to Usagi and says, you're going to marry Mamoru someday, right? Mm-hmm. And Usagi's like, oh, I'm embarrassed. And Rei says, you should be with a score like that. There's our Rei.
Yep.
She says,
she is.
Well, studying isn't everything, but you should try a little harder for his sake. Well, take it easy. And she leaves, and Usagi thinks, she really does care for me and our friends.
Mm-hmm. Because she does.
She does. Above the city, the egg flies. It seems to detect something, and it descends down to Hikawa Shrine. There, it merges with a giant tree on the premises, and there's a flash of energy. Floating above, watching, is Kauronite, in a scarlet halter mini dress with a deep plunge. So we're doing sexy villains again this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in. They're totally in.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think that, I don't know if... I guess we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I'm going to call her collarbones.
Collarbones?
It's better than Captain Cleavage.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
She looks great, but she's a little overdressed for 80 feet above a Shinto shrine. She says, hurry and appear. And just then, Rei comes running up. But hold on, Usagi is sitting on some stairs, contemplating her bad score, when Mamoru comes by. She says, boy, if Mamo-chan saw this. And he says over her shoulder, whoa, that's terrible. Mm-hmm. And she says, yep, that's what he'd say. Ah! And she Looney Tunes back flat against the wall. She's like, wow, it's a great weather today. Well, gotta fly. We're studying at Rei's. It's been tough with all the fighting we're doing. And he says, yeah, I guess we can't date for a while. And she's like, sure. We don't have to stop dating. Come on. But he's like, okay, see you.
I know.
I mean, they're teenagers in love, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like, every second they spend apart is torture. So I just think I know that they have, like, different lives and they go to different schools and everything, but, like, I think it's weird that he walks by and it's just like, oh, yeah, you. Hey.
Yeah, and I think maybe this is kind of what a lot of people's frustration is with Mamoru and Usagi's relationship.
Like this time
in
they didn't
anime.
even bother to find like prophetic dreams or something.
No,
like,
this time it's just her studying for
his
the high school
alphabet
entrance
spelled
exam.
out, stay away.
Yeah, right.
Now he's just like, yeah, you seem like you're busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, great.
At the shrine, Rei kneels in front of the fire, looking for an answer to what that dream was. She tries to see a vision, but she only sees the tree outside and thinks, I just don't have it today. Mm-hmm. She goes outside. She gets a fortune o-mikuji from the booth. Mm-hmm. She looks at it, and we don't see what it is, but her face doesn't look good. She ties it to the tree and prays for good fortune for her and her friends. Mm-hmm. Well, pause on that prayer, because the tree comes alive. Mm-hmm. It transforms into a purple-skinned woman with a long red and white braid who says, Mikuji!
Yeah.
I will have your pure heart that worries about your friends. Was she praying out loud, or did it read her mind? She's praying out loud.
I think she was praying out loud, but...
Rei thinks, if I fight here, Grandpa and the others could get hurt. So she runs into the woods, and Mikuji flies after her. And in the air, Karanite smiles. Mm-hmm. New eye catch!
Yeah.
Sailormoono super!
I love it.
Yeah. In the woods, Rei runs, but she is pinned against a wall by Mikuji, whose hands detach from her arms.
Yep.
Trapping Rei. She grows new hands and says, your fortune today is very bad.
Yep.
Karanite appears behind her and says, she might have a talisman, so take her pure heart. Mm-hmm. Mikuji tears the front of her kimono open, because why not? And exposes a black star on her chest. Out of the star shoots a dark beam that pierces Rei's chest. And Rei's having a bad time.
Yeah.
Collarbone says, this could take a while. I'm going to look for other victims. On the street, Usagi is thinking, I'd rather go on a date than study. But Luna says, you better study, or I'll... Pulls her claws out.
I know!
Luna's going to get tripped to the vet. Usagi says, you don't understand how a girl feels. And Luna says, you mean how a sloth feels? Good one, but no time to laugh.
No.
Usagi hears Rei scream, and she rushes to help her out. When she gets there, she sees Mikuji doing her thing, and Luna says, transform. And she does. She steps out and says, I can't forgive you for harassing my pure-hearted friend. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you. Mm-hmm. Mikuji says, she was targeted because of her pure heart. And Luna says, the target is a pure heart? Everybody knows we're talking about a pure heart now. Said it 3 times in a row.
Telephone.
Mikuji says, your fortune is very bad. And she whips her braid around Sailor Moon's legs and tosses her across the field. Just then, Ami, Makoto, and Manako arrive, and they start to transform. But Mikuji fires fortune sticks out of her backpack, which pin the girls to the trees. And she says, your fortunes are very... Yeah, we get it. They're bad. I don't think she's looking at these fortunes. She's just saying that they're bad.
They're all bad.
She didn't even look at those sticks.
They're all bad.
No. Usagi struggles to get up as Mikuji stalks towards her, but a red rose comes flying and sticks itself in the demon's hair. Mm-hmm. Tuxedo Mask stands somehow atop a nearby tree.
I know.
He should just be hanging from it on that side.
He's just going to
Hey, you!
I know! He's going to be floating on a cloud one of these days.
Yes, that's Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
He says, ruffian who creates a storm of riots in the warm sun of spring. Retreat now! Mikuji says, do you want a fortune too? Tuxedo Mask jumps down and says, now, Sailor Moon! And Sailor Moon fires a Moon Princess halation. But Mikuji fires back with a stream of Mikuji slips that form a very bad triangle.
Yep.
Which I believe is a Go term.
Really?
An empty triangle, I did a little research. I cheated. An empty triangle is one of the bad shapes or positions in a Go game. It's like like a chess setup or a scenario. And also, Mikuji says gote, which means the second move in Go.
Oh, okay.
Like Usagi made her attack, but Mikuji is retaliating. This is her retaliation.
Oh, interesting.
We have to do more on Go in the future.
Okay.
We've talked about it before, but
briefly.
There is so much to talk about with Go.
Yeah.
Here's a sneak peek. There's a famous game of Go called the Blood Vomiting Game, where supposedly ghosts got involved. This is a real thing.
What?
Appetite's whetted, but you're going to have to wait.
What I know from Go, I know from Ranma 1/2, and that's
I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
When we talk about Ranma 1/2 on animatification. Anyway, the effect is that the halation goes nowhere, and the scepter is knocked out of Usagi's hands, and everybody's like, oh crap, this is really bad.
Yes.
Mikuji leaps at Sailor Moon, pinning her to a tree, making her hands stone to trap her arms and legs. Oh, she has hand feet. Did I not mention that?
Yeah.
And then her face becomes stone, and she bites the silver crystal brooch.
I know.
And the silver crystal just turns off, and yep, Usagi's naked again.
Yep.
Mikuji's face comes off the stone part and stays on the brooch, and she pulls away, and for just a second, she has no face before her face and hands regrow.
Wow, I didn't even notice that. That's amazing.
Usagi is pinned to the tree, and her ribbons are flapping all around until they fade, and she's back in her street clothes, thank God. Mm-hmm. It's a cute little jumper.
It is.
But it's orange. I don't know. The stone face falls off her chest, and the brooch goes with it. Just for good measure, Mikuji just shoots a stick at Tuxedo Mask and just wraps him up, just offhandedly.
Right.
And the cats charge her, but she knocks them back.
Yep.
And she's like, okay, we good?
Yeah.
And then she tears her shirt open and goes back to ripping Rei's heart out. Rei collapses, and from her chest appears one of these crystals, these star crystals. Mm-hmm. Is Rei dead? Maybe. We don't know.
Yeah.
The crystal floats over to Mikuji, and we hear a voiceover of all the things that Rei said that she wanted to do with her life. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm guessing dead. Usagi starts crying at the loss of her friend, and she struggles on her tree. Crucified! On a tree!
Yeah, it's definitely Christ imagery, for sure.
Mikuji grabs the crystal that is Rei's heart and says, humans, am I right? But she is obliterated by a yellow and blue beam of power. There was now only a tree where there used to be a tree in another place.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So the groundskeeper's going to show up and be like, what the hell?
Because she flew through the air and they fought somewhere else. Yeah, anyways.
The egg falls out of the tree and cracks, and a dark miasma with a ghostly face in it leaks out and dissipates. The girls are free. They run to Rei's side, but she lies still. In the eaves of another nearby tree, a gloved hand holds the crystal, and a voice says, this is not a talisman. And another voice says, they had the wrong target, a trip wasted. Mm-hmm. And the hidden figure releases the crystal back to Rei, which enters her chest, and she opens her eyes, alive again. The girls are relieved to see that she's okay, and Usagi is really feeling it. She's like, are you okay? Is there anything that you want to eat?
It's so cute. It's so sweet. It's like, I don't think Rei's as obsessed with food as you are, Usagi, but maybe that's how she comforts herself.
I'll get you all the pancakes you want.
Yeah.
I'll stuff your pink mouth with pancakes. The cats, however, notice two mysterious figures leaping down from a tree and sneaking away.
Yeah.
Back in the lab, currently on the slab, is the scientist guy who says, I guess she didn't have a talisman. And Collarbone says, yeah, also, we had an unexpected interruption. Mm-hmm. Back at the shrine, our heroes are going over what just happened. Okay, the enemy is looking for pure hearts. And there's talismans inside people. And there's two mysterious new figures. Is a new battle about to begin? The answer was yes. And that's it. We're going to talk for like an hour now about this episode.
Go for it.
There's just a lot going on here. I know. So they're starting 9th grade.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And it's just like, speaking of being a noob, 90 episodes, and I'm just realizing that season 1 never happened, technically. This whole time, because I don't know if it's a translation or how they deliver the story, and I think even fandom is a little split over it. It is. But what happened is she reversed time. They just did 8th grade all over again.
They did.
Which, now that she knows that, isn't she so angry about that? She's repeated 8th grade, and she still gets a 5 out of 100.
But does she know that?
She got a Luna beam in her head.
Well, that's true. You're right. She does know that.
So anyway, I just
Good point.
I
guess
could
they
never
all
figure
know
the
that.
calendar out. We spent all this time trying to figure it out, and it's like no, they just it's like Superman. They just reverse the Earth.
Right.
So anyway, I'm such a noob in so many ways.
Well, they don't even make it clear, like, was it an entire year or was it like 6 months? Or I'm just going to assume, like you were saying, it's an entire year. Let's just make it clean and easy, you know?
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that we finally got our Mad Scientist season.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball did it.
We do. Okay.
About the same time in their
right.
Dragon Ball Z in their run. And a couple years before this, the Dr. Garo android saga, where this guy is trying to harness this energy and he's creating things to do it, and it turns on him at some point.
Sure.
And also like the talismans. So Holy Grail. So the talismans get the Holy Grail, which allows you to do whatever you want or grants your wish. It's like, that's very Dragon Ball as well. Yeah. So that's okay. I mean, look, you can steal things or borrow things from other shows.
But it's so mixed, like, too. Like, I mean, you talk about a Holy Grail, you talk about talismans, but you also mention the Messiah and, like... So,
we have a Holy Grail, demons, Messiahs, crucifixion, and resurrection.
Uh-huh. Yep.
What is this, Evangelion?
Yeah. Where are the robots? Where's Shinji? Is he hiding around here somewhere? Is this secretly an isekai for Shinji?
Did we ever figure out if one of the Senshi was Christian?
I don't believe that any of them are.
Right, but it'd be Ami though.
Ami?
Yeah.
Why?
Cause
I said so.
Seems like she's got a lot of guilt. It's not going to be Rei. It's not Usagi.
I feel like...
It's definitely not Makoto.
Okay.
And maybe it would be Monako because of she's traveled abroad, but she picked up a boyfriend and Christianity in England.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Ami was Christian, though, she'd be quoting the Bible, don't you think?
I'm surprised that she hasn't quoted the Bible
Or,
yet.
like, she'd be trying to convert people or something like that.
She's pretty circumspect, though.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she wouldn't really do that.
Maybe she's a secret Christian.
If one of them was Christian, I feel like there'd be like a very special episode where.
No, I mean, yeah, I know.
Go to church
this is
or
headcanon.
something. I don't know.
It's interesting, and I don't think that the show is trying to. I mean, I haven't seen the entire season yet, but I don't think they're trying to do anything with it. But I think that like this whole time they've been pulling. We talked about the tarot last year, and we talked about something else before that. What were we talking about? Where were all the Yoma? They were like mythological figures.
Yeah, they were mythological with Al-Anon. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so yeah, like I mean, it makes sense. Now they've come around to like kind of Western legend. It looks like. So I wonder if we get a very Chinese/Japanese demon in this one.
Yeah,
but,
I would say Japanese because it's
outfit's Chinese.
It's Japanese because Shintoism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I wonder if like the future demons will reflect that or not. Because you never really know. Like everybody has different colors. I know everybody is Japanese and they're Japanese. Go to Japanese school and
right.
And the mad scientist guy, is probably just a Japanese guy. But it's that anime thing where everybody has different hair colors and they all kind of look different. And so I wonder if that will play any role in this.
And then you did remind me of something too. Like I guess I should mention that there were a lot of missionaries that went over to Japan during different points. So a
lot of them didn't come back.
Yeah, I know.
Still haven't watched that movie.
Yeah, I know.
Although she does say, she says that silence is coming, and the name of that movie is Silence. How did she know that Scorsese was going to make that movie? She is psychic.
Oh my God, Rei is psychic.
There, vote for us to do a review of Silence. Just listen to us cry for 3 hours.
Great. But a lot of the schools were started. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there are a fair amount of schools in Japan that were started by missionaries. In fact, my high school had a sister school in Japan, and it was an all-girls school, and it was started by.
Oh, really? A school where everybody has to wear a skirt and a tie every day? It was started by Catholics. Wow.
Yeah. Well. but not all of them have that.
Sure.
But I'm just saying that, that's there, even whether or not they are necessarily Christian themselves, like going to that school. You know what I mean? I think that there are a lot of kids growing up who are exposed to Christianity at a certain level in Japan, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay. Sorry, that was a little bit of a ramble.
Superbook is pretty big, so, it's...
I still don't get Superbook.
Is that on our list?
You keep saying Superbook, and, it's just, I mean, you could just be saying I don't, it doesn't register.
You have to remember, I come from an ancient time. I come from pre-Toonami, when the only anime that you would see is whatever the UHF station decided to pay, a syndication fee for. And so the only anime that you could see was Kimba the White Lion.
Sure. Which is
Robotech, which wasn't like anime, they just completely re-engineered it to be an American show, basically.
Right.
And Superbook on Sunday mornings.
Okay. Well, Kimba the White Lion is what's his name? I can't think of the creator.
Osamu Tezuka.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The godfather of anime. So Superbook is religious? I have no idea what Superbook is. Just give me a rough rundown.
Oh my god. Okay, fine. It's a professor, right? It's like Doctor Who, but for Jesus. So it's a professor, he's got some kids, and he's never around. I don't know what he's doing. He's somewhere. And then he made this robot called Gadget or TikTok. It's got a robot name. Mm-hmm. And they have Superbook. And Superbook is nominally the Bible, but it's also like a sentient time traveling book. And so they go there's some kind of framing story. It's like a Goofus and Gallant type thing.
Sure. Where
there's a frame story where it's like, oh man, I struck out at the baseball game. And it's like, Timmy, there's heroes in the Bible had to deal with adversity too.
Okay.
Check out Judges, where Jonah and the whale, and then they get sucked into the book.
That
very dangerous.
Is
and they end
terrifying.
Up in those times, and they're like,
"No,
hi, who are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm Jonah, but I really don't want to do this thing, and I thought I'd just go swimming. I'll just go swimming. That always makes me feel better."
Don't do it, Jonah.
Yeah, and so they're put into the historical events of the Bible scenarios.
That is absolutely
It's
terrifying.
not a terrible idea.
No, it's not a terrible idea.
It's a really cheesy show though. It's for little kids.
Sure, but it's kind of the idea of being sucked into the Bible is terrifying though. All the horrible things that happen.
It depends on what part.
Okay.
It depends on what part you end up in.
But are you just witnessing it?
Yeah. Song of Solomon? Not so bad. Not so bad. Revelation? You're in trouble.
Yeah. I wanted to mention the eye catch. We did talk about it briefly. I love it. I love that it says Sailor Moon Super, which is what the S in Sailor Moon S stands for.
Yeah.
And I also think that her little twirl spin that she does, it kind of reminds me of figure skating.
Okay,
she's doing
sure.
a spin. Maybe Usagi has been practicing figure skating in her spare time.
Maybe
now she's gotten really good.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Right.
Maybe Usagi just gets magical aptitude when she transforms.
Yeah, that's probably more.
I don't think she's been out there on the ice at all.
Okay.
Too busy fighting. She's got too much work to do.
Yeah, but I love her little wink in the heart. That's amazing.
Your Honor, a courtroom is a crucible. In it we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth, for all time.
Oh man, this is so intense. Data's on trial for his life.
I know. This episode, The Measure of a Man, is based on the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision of 1857.
And every week on Backtracking, we take a look at the real-world events that inspired classic Star Trek episodes. Sorry.
Shut up! Who are you?
We're the hosts of Backtracking. I'm Caliban.
You will both be taken to the brig and from there to the nearest starbase, where you will answer charges for what you have done.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
This is not a game. This is life and death.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Backtracking is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
You go f*** yourself.
Today on Kyoru Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where you talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, I thought we would talk about o-mikuji. So, inspired by our villain this week, whose name is Mikuji, it's a elongated I wanted to emphasize that. They don't really say it like that. It's a reference to o-mikuji.
So, is it just, did they get it wrong? Or can you just say it both ways?
No. That's just how they chose to name the villain, is with an elongated if that makes sense. But how
does that differentiate it from?
There's no elongation of the vowel for the fortune telling.
So it'd be like if I named a character Luke Skywalker, like he had 2 U's in his name. That would be insane. Well, who would do that?
Essentially.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, they elongate vowels and stuff like that in Japanese, and then or shorten things, and then it's like 2 different words. I mean, we have words that sound similar that are slightly different and mean completely different things.
I guess we do that here.
Sound similar, exactly the same, and are 2 different things.
I guess we do that here, where you got a villain that's like a Cuizart, but they call him Cuizart or something like that.
Right. So
I should not have interrupted you.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
But we're gonna take a more in-depth look at the fortunes. We have previously talked about this on episode 2.
Yeah.
Way back in episode 2, but
88 episodes ago.
Yeah. Yeah. But Kyoru Miru was not quite as in depth at that point. It's evolved.
Right.
So there's a lot more stuff I can share. And we also mentioned it briefly in episode 70, which is the episode where Koan gets an o-mikuji that says, quote, "Your longtime wish will come true."
Right.
And this is when she becomes a real girl.
Yeah.
You know.
And it becomes an Avon lady.
Yeah, right, exactly. So the Yoma Mikuji is referring to the small fortune-telling pieces of paper that you can get at Shinto shrines or Buddhist temples in Japan. Again, called o-mikuji. The O is honorific. And again, not an elongated vowel. So o-mikuji literally means sacred lot. The term kuji means lottery. So
lot, like something that is apportioned to you, something that you get, like
and like
not like a lot, like a that lot on the corner on 55.
Not like land, but
it's pretty sacred.
And like a lottery, like it's kind of an o-mikuji is kind of random luck, like a lottery. I guess you could look at it like that.
That's my lot.
Yes, exactly. So so you get o-mikuji at a shrine or a temple, but before you do so, whenever you enter a shrine or temple, it is important to cleanse yourself at the Temizuya, which is the hand-washing pavilion.
I like how Rei skips that step.
She's already there.
Presumably she's washed in
I'm sure
already.
I think she has.
But I like nobody's at the shrine, so she just kind of like leans over the counters like, give me one of those.
Well...
oh, that's how it happens after hours.
Right. I'm sure she purified herself because she was sitting at the fire and doing her hand...
her divination.
Her divination, thank you.
After she purified herself in the water's lake.
I think of that every time. Yeah. So anyways, Prince's voice is in my head. This is meant to cleanse yourself of impurities. So you fill the wooden ladle with water, and this is, of course, it's Japan, so there's a proper way to do things. So you fill the ladle with water. You pour some over your left hand first, and then your right hand, and then you pour a small amount into your cupped left hand, which you pour into your mouth, rinsing it, and then you spit the water out into the trough at your feet, not back into the water basin.
Yeah, right.
That is no bueno. But this is all done quietly and respectfully. So yeah, and then traditionally people would donate a so o-mikuji's been around for a long time, and we'll talk about that more in just a second, but traditionally people would donate a 5 yen coin, which is like 5 cents. This is way a long time ago, but as 5 yen in Japanese, or go-en. sounds like the Japanese word go-en. En means connection or relationship, and go is an honorific prefix.
Huh.
So donating a go-en coin was intended to help make a good connection between you and the deity of the shrine or temple.
Yeah.
And I do want to emphasize you can get o-mikuji at both Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples.
Okay.
So 5 yen coins are frequently used in charms to this day. And when praying at shrines and temples, some people like hold on to them to like pray and everything too. And also to help make a connection with the spirit. They also, just as a side note, are really pretty coins in my opinion.
Do they have a hole in them?
Yes.
Nice.
They are golden color and they have a hole in the middle, and they depict it's a rice plant, but it kind of sweeps over with the coin. So it gives like this kind of sweeping motion, and it's growing out of water, which is really cool too, I think. And then it has 5 yen written in kanji, and then the opposite side says in kanji Japan or Nihon and the year of issue, and it's separated by sprouts of trees. I don't know, I just think that's cool. Others believe that 5 yen coins are unlucky because of their central holes. So, lucky,
I love that they keep
unlucky.
They keep the hole.
Yeah.
For tradition. I mean, nobody's like putting this on a cord or anything like that.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about like they used to keep it on cords?
Yeah, you keep it on a cord.
Yeah.
And you can put a netsuke on the end of the cord and stick it in your belt, and then, then everybody knows that you've got money.
I guess.
And then you get robbed. Maybe you put it up your sleeve or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you want everybody to know that you have money. Is it an intimidation thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got 5 cents. That's right.
A whole 5.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty
the cord,
lucky.
Yeah, I had 10. The cord cost 5, but yeah.
Yeah, right. But today, a typical donation for an o-mikuji is somewhere between 100 to 300 yen, which is $1 to $3 US.
Right.
Once the donation is made, you shake a small cylindrical or rectangular box that has sticks in it and the sticks are called mikuji-bo. And the stick that falls out has a number written on it, typically in kanji, and you receive the fortune paper with the corresponding number. A lot of shrines and temples today have drawers that correspond to all of the numbers, so you find your drawer and then you select your fortune. Now, in order to get a better fortune, you are supposed to think of something that you want guidance on or have something in mind as you shake the box, sort of thing. It is popular to draw an o-mikuji during the New Year in Japan, when one goes to a temple or shrine for the first time of the year, which is done on New Year's Day, typically.
Oh, the lines.
No, I am... Seriously, the lines. I've done this, and
it's like
it is amazing.
It's like everybody going to Christmas midnight mass. It's like, wow, there's a lot of people in here you don't usually see.
Yeah, like I have pictures that I don't know if anybody would be interested in me posting pictures from Japan on our Instagram at some point.
Yeah, do it.
But it's just a sea of people on like going up these steps, and it's incredible. But it was really neat. I went with my my conversation partner who's Japanese and her parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lines are no joke. They're really, really long. But this fortune that you get at the beginning of the new year can be kind of used as a barometer for your luck for the coming year.
Okay.
However, o-mikuji can be drawn anytime throughout the year and are often done so at festivals or special, events at the shrine or temple. However, it is not a good idea to draw o-mikuji until you, quote unquote, get a good one. The fortune is considered to be a message from the gods, and it is disrespectful to ignore it. So if you don't like, we'll get to what you can do if you don't like your fortune, but don't continue to donate and shake the box to get a good one. Right, on. Exactly. Lucky number, I don't know, 22. But You can literally come back the next day, and that's fine. But don't do it more than once.
You've been here every day this week.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to give it up. Just give it up.
There are at least 12 different types of luck that someone could receive, and they range from great blessing to great curse.
Like the last one is like great evil blessing.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's like if you don't say it very fast, they're like, you get a great, you're like, oh, evil blessing.
I know.
Like, it's greatly evil. There's an evil blessing.
It's yes.
This is below that.
Yeah,
This
right.
is greatly evil.
Yes, exactly. And some shrines and temples. I know, right? Like it's totally true. So like it's like, so great is it's the same kanji for like big. So it's like big blessing or big curse.
Big evil.
Yeah, great. So yeah, you don't want that one. But some shrines and temples add more degrees of luck to their lottery, especially the good kind, but sometimes the bad kind too, so you have to be careful. Additional blessings will add one of the following to the already, the wide range. They'll add toku or special, cho or extremely, or they'll add another die or big. So it's possible that you could get a big blessing. So double blessing,
Oh, no triple blessing?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone is that extreme to add 3.
We've never seen this many blessings before.
Right. Generally speaking, there are typically more blessings or good luck, o-mikuji, than curses, with a ratio that is about 70-30.
Okay.
So most of the time, you're going to get a more positive fortune. But if you do draw a curse or just one that's okay, you typically, the o-mikuji offers some sort of advice as to how to improve your luck, which is good. So you always want to pay attention to that. Traditionally, if you get a so-so fortune or a bad fortune, you would tie it to a pine tree at the shrine or temple. The pun was for pine, matsu, and wait, matsu. See, they're two different words that they sound the same. They're homophones. They sound the same, but they mean two different things.
Yeah.
But the idea being that the bad luck would wait with the tree instead of following around the new person who drew it.
For 2 things. One, man, they love their puns
so much.
Their whole religion's based on puns.
I cannot emphasize that enough.
And number 2, like, this is a good villain then, because it's like the bad luck tree.
Yeah, right?
He's taking all your luck, and he's not taking any more.
She's serving up all the bad luck.
Yeah.
And I was going to save this for later, but the cards that she throws out, when she's throwing out slips of paper or what have you, it says big curse, so that's the worst one you can get. Yeah.
Dealing from the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, exactly. So you got really bad luck. She's not kidding. But today, less desirable fortunes are still sometimes tied to trees. I tried looking this up, but I do not know if they still have to be pine trees or if it can be another type of tree.
The tree in the show wasn't a pine tree.
No, that's what I was trying to figure out. But pine trees in general in Japan, I read, are considered to be good luck.
Okay.
And they're considered to kind of help purify things and keep the bad stuff out.
Okay.
And I guess a lot of temples and shrines, you will see them a lot inside the temples and shrines, but you also see them around the perimeter, kind of trying to keep the bad stuff out.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. But they also, another place where you can tie your less desirable fortunes today are strings that are hung either horizontally or vertically within a wooden frame. Sometimes it's also metal. What is it? Like I don't want to say wire. It's like a metal cable.
Okay.
But it's strung up on a wooden frame. But the idea is the same. You leave your bad luck behind you at the place of worship, so you don't take it with you.
Yeah.
If you get a good fortune, however, you're supposed to keep it close to you. So lots of people will maybe put it in their wallet or just like in their pocket, like keep it close. O-mikuji is believed to have started in the Muromachi period, which was 1336 to 1573, and were originally based on a collection of 100 Chinese poems by the Buddhist monk Tendai. So I guess it is somewhat of a Chinese connection for sure. Historically, lots were used to help make important decisions in Japan, such as who you should choose as a successor or other political decisions.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let the Congress come to order. Now give me the box. Shake it, shake it, shake it.
I know, right?
Higher taxes for everybody. Sorry.
It's what the gods wanted.
It's a big evil.
Yeah. God, that's horrible. It is thought that this is how o-mikuji came to be, as it was believed that the gods would oversee lots fairly and justly.
It's stacked in. It's unlike gambling. It's stacked in your favor because it's like
you're right.
70-30 that it'll be at least okay.
Right.
It's not like going and playing, blackjack or something. And actually, blackjack's the most favorable game. Right?
Is that right?
I still don't know what the odds are, but
okay. Probably not 70-30,
but that's
I would imagine.
That's why they have all those flashing lights outside of a casino. That's why they can pay their electrical bill, because all the games are set up, the rules are set up that you will be unlikely to win. The house wins most of the time.
Right. Whereas in this,
I like this better.
Right, exactly. The gods want you to win.
Yeah.
I guess you could look at it as, that's another way of looking at it. But, Ashikaga Yoshinori, who was the sixth shogun who reigned from 1429 to 1441, was selected via lot.
Oh.
So the shogun who was before him did not have a successor, and he passed. And so...
the Ashikaga line or dynasty, we talked about Ashikaga, was it last episode, right? With the guy who's like, boy, I love these flowers. This is so great. I love doing flowers. I'm going to quit. And they're like, get the box.
Maybe you have a better memory for names than I do. I'm kind of lousy with name memory.
Yeah? What about foreign names?
The same.
It's sometimes easier to, because there's, obviously there's a lot of characters and syllables, but I feel like a lot of them show up in Japanese names. Sometimes you see a Japanese name and you're like, oh, what's the formation on that? That's interesting. But often it's like something, 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 something. Like the naming convention is, at least in anime, I feel like the naming convention is like, I'm Jubei Jijo or something. Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I think something about Japanese too is that because it's syllabic and a lot of the syllables rhyme. It has kind of a musical quality to it, I think. And I think it lends itself really well to poetry and to music because of that.
And puns.
So many puns. Oh my God, do they love puns.
There's an Ashikaga flower park in Ashikaga.
Okay,
Is
well,
the
there
city
you go.
Ashikaga named for the
I don't
line of
know.
emperors? Probably.
The shogun.
The shogun.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
I don't
we're
know.
learning things all over the place today.
We are. O-mikuji today typically contain either a poem or religious text that somehow relates to the fortune, as well as some more specific information about different areas of life that correspond with your fortune, i.e. health, romance, travel, etc. Also, whether or not you should invest in the stock market.
Oh, sure.
Lost items, moving, a wide range of things.
They're not precious about it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I feel like if this was, when this is Americanized, and it will be, Rei, whose name will be R-A-Y for some reason. What was Rei in Star Wars? R-E-Y.
Which is
like Marina Del Rey. She'll be like an altar girl or something like that, right?
I hate this.
It's like it's gonna happen. And so, but if they would not do a thing where the monster came into the church and
gosh, no.
and pissed in the in the baptistry or something like that.
No.
But like the Japanese are like, oh yeah, it's got these fortunes, it's a good deal, and we're gonna make a monster that just shoots fortunes out of people, and their name is Fortune, and it's just like they're like, well, yeah, it's fine.
Right.
They're not too like precious about it.
No, they're not at all. And I also want to emphasize that Japanese people don't really take o-mikuji like super duper seriously. Like, don't worry if you get a curse. Don't worry if you get a big curse. You tie it on a tree, you pray, you leave, you move on with your life. Yeah, exactly. Get some noodles. Good luck. You keep it with you. I did kind of want to do something a little different this episode too, since we are transitioning from the Deke dub to Cloverway.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah.
I meet you, Cloverway.
But I thought we would kind of try to do kind of a Deke Cloverway timeline, if that makes sense, to kind of help break things down, because the English dub of Sailor Moon, I think we've kind of talked about it here and there, but it was rough. So as we know, Deke was the first company to own the rights to dubbing Sailor Moon into English. They actually won a bidding war with Renaissance Atlantic, who's the company who adapted Super Sentai into Power Rangers. Renaissance Atlantic hired toon makers to create an animation / live action version of Sailor Moon, which is referred to as Saban Moon, which we will talk about in detail some other time. But if you
it's gonna have to be special.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen it, go onto YouTube and just search for Saban Moon and watch the kind of like trailer to it.
We live in an age where I feel like everything gets out. All of Twitch is hacked. All the celebrities' nudes are on the internet. You're telling me that we can't get a full tape of Saban Moon, if it exists, or at least an SD quality video of that trailer. Because all we've got is the one with the guy laughing over the entire thing at the con in 2002 in Pomona or whatever it is.
Right.
And like apparently it went from there to like the Iron Mountain Vault in like the Rocky Mountains.
Apparently.
And, like, nobody's ever seen it again.
I know. And there have been reporters who've done super hardcore investigation into this.
Let's do a GoFundMe. Somebody's got this and it's worthless, right? Unless we give them money for it.
Right. Yeah. I think it's still out
Maybe
there.
That's the final goal of this whole project that we're doing, is that episode 201 is we release Saban Moon to the public.
Yeah. So Deke eventually got the rights to the dub of the first 2 seasons of Sailor Moon from Bandai, who had a business agreement with Toei to produce the English dub of the anime. And the voice work for both the Deke and Cloverway dubs was done by a company called Optimum Productions, which is based in, I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, Mississauga, thank you, a city west of Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
So they did the voiceover stuff, but Deke and Cloverway, they were in charge of the localization and the script and that sort of thing. Deke was not perfect.
Kind of sloppy.
Yeah, it's kind of sloppy. But if I was going to watch a dub of Sailor Moon, it's probably going to be my preferred version. I haven't really watched the Viz dub, admittedly, but I just like the voice acting. I like the voice acting in the Deke dub a lot, and it's probably has to do with it was the one I saw first, and it's the one I'm the most nostalgic with, and it's the one in which I got to know all the characters.
But didn't you wonder why Usagi's voice changed?
I know, but it's okay. So
I for one think her voice sounds great. Well, I think the Cloverway dub's the best.
Okay. So actually there were 3 Sailor Moon voice actors in the Deke Cloverway. Like, I can't remember, like there was one lady who did it for like only the first couple episodes in like classic, and then it switched over. And I didn't really notice that much difference between their styles, but Linda Valentine, who did Usagi's voice, or I should say Serena's voice in the Cloverway dub, is the nicest person. I have met her. I've had her sign stuff. I really like her, and she's super enthusiastic about Sailor Moon, but she's not my favorite Serena. So,
I don't.
Sorry.
Well,
Linda.
you know, this is how much of a noob I am. I don't really have an opinion because I don't watch. I don't watch the dub.
Yeah, I know.
But I've been, you know, I have that opportunity because of the fact that everything is available everywhere, except for Saban Moon. Yeah. But I have heard her, and I like her. I like her version. I think it's fun.
Do you?
Yeah, because the one from the Deke dub, the first 2 seasons, it's fine. Like, it's solid. Yeah. But it's just like, well, we've got to do this, Mamo. Come on. It's just like a normal anime protagonist's voice. But I like the characterization. I like that it's goofy and they turn it up.
It's very goofy.
She's going for it.
Yeah, she's totally going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and
I'm cool with that.
I like her, so, you know, maybe I'll give it another chance if I ever watch the Cloverway dub.
You will.
But I think a lot of fans are really super nostalgic for the Deke dub, and unfortunately, it's really difficult to find, and it's something that I see other fans asking about online, like how to watch or buy it, and you can't really watch or buy the Deke or Cloverway dubs anymore because Viz owns the distribution rights to the English dub now.
Yes, they do.
They're not going to distribute the...
Distribution. That's a funny word. When they took it off their website.
What?
I used to watch it on Viz's website. And then they decided, new Crystal coming out. Gotta take that down.
Yeah, I know. That was a bummer. That was really nice when we could just watch it on their website. I don't think it had commercials either. So anyways... Seems like so long ago already. So the Deke dub struggled in America because it was put in a dead early morning time slot. Sailor Moon first aired in the U.S. on September 11th, 1995 on the UPN's UPN Kids block. And depending on the state, the anime was broadcast between 6 and 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. You know, when everybody can watch it. So a lot of kids got up really early and watched it anyways. It's not great. But it's not great.
But I mean, like, I was up at that time.
Sure.
I just, if I watched too much of it, I'd watch the bus go by.
Yeah.
Out of my window. So yeah, you're playing with fire when you're watching those early cartoons.
Early morning
school.
Cartoons. Yeah. In early December 1995, UPN canceled Sailor Moon, stating that the target audience, aka young kids, was not watching the show. So they didn't give it much time. It was like it aired in September and they canceled it in December. After this cancellation, the fan site called Save Our Sailors, or SOS, petitioned to save the show. Deke later responded to the petition and announced that Sailor Moon R would air on the USA Network on June 9th, 1997. However, due to an ownership change at USA, Sailor Moon, along with several other kids shows, was cut from the programming at the end of the same year, having been back on TV for a whopping 5.5 months. So it was really hard to watch at this point. In 1997, Deke dubbed the remaining Sailor Moon R episodes, and they aired in Canada starting on September 20th, 1997, but the US would have to wait over a year to see them. Cartoon Network gained the syndication rights of Sailor Moon R in 1998, and the series started airing on Toonami in June of that year. Toonami was also given the rights to air the last remaining 17 episodes of Sailor Moon R, which they referred to as the, quote, lost episodes. And the lost episodes began airing on November 30th, 1998, so fans in the U.S. went about 3 years before they could finish the Black Moon arc.
Yeah.
This was a huge deal that many
And then they went, that's it.
I know, right? This was a huge deal that many...
As it recedes into the rearview mirror, I think I'm becoming more bearish on the Black Moon arc. Well, at least the ending.
Well, I'm not over the moon about... I didn't even mean to do that. About the ending either, so... yeah, but this was a big deal that, like, a lot of kids really remember super fondly. Like, these episodes, like... once they started airing on Toonami, they aired like every day, every weekday, a new one aired.
Yeah, this was your Sopranos finale. For all these little kids.
Right.
You're like, what? She's just eating onion rings? That's it? What happens?
Kind of. Yeah, pretty much. But this was not my experience because I did not have satellite or cable at the time, so
They remained lost to you.
I just was like catch as catch can as far as like catching episodes. It was like whatever I could get on VHS, or my friend who was like, I lovingly called my anime dealer, would like bring over.
Hey, you old.
Seriously, she's the one who introduced me to Sailormoono.
Man, I got Naruto, I got Boruto, I got Trigun.
Yeah, right.
What you need?
Trench coat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
VHS is strapped inside. That's how old I am. In 2000, Cloverway Inc., which was Toei Animation's North and South American branch, acquired the English language rights of Sailor Moon S and Super S, or seasons 3 and 4. They also distributed and produced the Spanish and Portuguese localization of all 5 seasons of Sailor Moon and all the movies in Latin America and Brazil. Cloverway specialized in distributing Toei's anime in different countries, and they mostly assisted in getting Toei properties distributed for home video and syndication. They frequently acted as kind of like a go-between for distribution in Japan and the Americas. So Sailor Moon S and Sailor Moon Super S were the only anime seasons that Cloverway dubbed into English themselves. So they were not used to doing this in English. They've done this in Spanish way more than they've done this in English. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, right. Cartoon Network wanted the dub for both S and Super S done as soon as possible, which resulted in rushed episodes that did not allow the dubbing team a lot of creativity. I have heard that a lot of times they took the first take on line readings, which not always great, especially if you're just like playing a character for the first time.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
So
I mean, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You don't have all day.
No, I know.
But yeah, maybe a little more.
It's nice to be able to play around at least a little bit.
Not if you're just like writing. They're just going right to tape, and they're like, all right, print that.
Yeah.
Get that out there.
Yeah,
it's like,
pretty much.
When I burped in the middle of that, you're playing Serena. It's fine. That's in character for her. Move it on. Next episode.
Exactly.
We got 20 more to do today. Come on.
After waiting a year and a half for more episodes, fans received a new English dubbed episode every weekday starting on June 12th, 2000 until November 16th, 2000. So both S and Super S had been recorded and aired within 1 year.
Okay.
So it was like no Sailor Moon for a while and then like a bunch of Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And this, again was on Toonami. Episode 90 was the first episode dubbed into English by Cloverway, as well as the first in which Serena was voiced by Linda Ballantyne, Amy by Liza Balkan, and Mina by Emily Barlow, who had previously voiced Rei in episodes 66 through 82 of the Deke dub. And Katie Griffin returned as the voice of Rei. Barlow had filled in for Griffin for those previous episodes. And Susan Roman returned to voice Lita. Serena is Usagi, Amy is Ami, Rei is Rei, and Lita is Makoto, and Mina is Minako. This was also the first episode that Vince Cuizart, who voiced Darien, aka Mamo, he had previously played Alan or Ale of Ale and Anne in R. So, yeah. And Jill Frappier returned to voice Luna, who she portrayed as having an English accent. And Ron Rubin returned as the voice of Artemis, who I have heard described as a surfer dude. So...
I guess you gotta do something.
Yeah, so you gotta...
Did Luna, visit England, then she comes back and she suddenly has an English accent?
No, well, the thing is, I didn't have a problem with it because that's what I grew up with, but it's a British accent, but she also kind of sounds old?
Well, they all sound old, don't they?
Well, but
I've heard people like, "Oh, Serena, when did Serena smoke 2 packs a day and drink whiskey, and then she goes to school?"
Wow.
Hey, everybody.
Oh my God, when did you sound like that?
Yeah, I don't know. People like what they like.
Yeah.
And they don't want to like other things.
That is very, very true. So yeah, due to the rush to have the episodes ready for a quick turnaround, there was no time to redo the score. So songs either received an English version of the Japanese song, or the song would be removed from the episode completely. Unfortunately, that meant we didn't get any, albeit corny, but amazing songs for the Cloverway dub like we did for the Deke dub. So
That's okay. I've heard the power of love as much as I want to at this point, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. But the more I think about it, Rainy Day Man, which is Makoto's image song, or Lita's image song, is pretty great. In comparison, the scripts for the Cloverway tended to be closer to the original Japanese scripts than the Deke dub scripts. However, sometimes the dialogue was pretty bad and was not written in a way that reflected how teens actually talk. So
they're old.
Yeah, or trying to sound really young. We'll get to it.
What's up, fellow Senshi?
Yeah, right, exactly. Tag hanging out, yeah. In time for the episodes to air, there was a new TV rating system for children that had gone into effect, which meant that a lot of the elements that were previously seen as too violent were allowed to remain in and not be censored. But they still censored stuff. But it was rated TV Y7 FV, which means that it was appropriate for kids 7 and up.
Sex and fear.
No, it yeah, right. But the FV stands for fantasy violence.
Whoa.
It's violence, but it's fantasy. However, most attack names in the Cloverway dub did not hold onto their Deke names, which could be kind of confusing for kids trying to follow along. But sometimes attack names would even change from episode to episode. But to be fair, Deke did the same thing sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah. Cloverway did make some really huge, not great changes, though. They changed the gender of some of their characters. No spoilers for Cal, so we will not talk about this yet, but we will talk about it as we are introduced to the characters.
Oh, I'm an old hand at this.
Oh, yeah.
Getting the genders changed.
Yeah, I know. They did it with Zoisite.
And then they sometimes they have OTPs with the Shitenu as well.
Yeah, well.
All the sailors are going to pick a handsome, evil, dark king to be married to forever.
That's okay. That's not exactly. Before you talk out of turn, so in the manga, your most dreaded phrase on this podcast.
It's a
ever.
segment.
I know. In the manga, as I'm pushing up my glasses, but there was like one drawing that Nako made of the Senshi with the 4 kings. And they're all paired up and everything. And she had talked about she wanted to write some sort of story. So it's like, it's a drawing, but it's kind of hinted at that it happened. But basically, it's like their past lives, they were connected to each other. So, but I guess in Crystal,
gross.
Yeah, you're like, gross.
But what about in the 27th Sarah Miyu musical, Advent of Princess Kakyu, the second stage final, where we get the Neo Shitenu?
Okay. So they're brand new. What does that even mean?
There's Cuizart.
Yeah.
Because they got to get him back, I guess.
Yeah.
The most exciting, the most electrifying king in anime entertainment. Hidden Knight, Kalu Knight, and Hematite. And really, it's the best naming convention you can come up with, because you can just add "ite" to the end of anything forever. Like, there are already a lot of minerals.
I know, but like Jedi and Zoisite already have that.
Right.
So, and Nephrite.
Yes.
So why change? What? Why?
Because these are different characters.
Oh, okay. But we got to get Cuizart back.
It's a musical. I don't know. No, it's not canon.
I know. That's what, Like, this is like one drawing that Nako did in front of
I know.
a manga chapter, and like people
I know.
will lose their literal minds over this.
Well, I've lost some of my mind over it because
Okay.
the thing is that, and we are going to, this is the territory that we're in now, right? We are walking into, welcome to the gay room, Sailor Scouts. Like, we're
Yes.
here, right?
Yeah.
And so people have strong opinions about this, myself
Yes.
included. And then
I
when you
understand
find
that.
out that as much as she has been on board and been a fan and even helped develop and produce a lot of the content post the manga, it was never the original plan for a lot of this stuff that people love to see in this to be. It wasn't like her vision for it.
Well, I don't know about like none of it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, okay, so Zoisite and Kunzite weren't together in the manga. Like that was
Let's
in the
not
anime.
itemize all the things that are going to drive me
Okay.
crazy and make me mad.
Okay.
All I'm saying is what we have is what we have.
Yeah.
And sometimes a work transforms when you adapt it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it reaches more people and has its own merits and virtues for that reason.
Absolutely.
Superbook.
Oh my god, Superbook. Ichidakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Of course, she mentions her weird dream where she went to the hospital because she ate too much ice cream. And then Mamo-chan, which is just fantastic. Mwah, Usagi. And then Mamo-chan was there because he was brought in on a stretcher because he ate too many mooncakes.
One comedy note. That, move on. That's it. You got it. You know what I mean? But this is more of a show, a silly show for kids.
Yeah.
That sounds so derisive. I'm not trying to be derisive, but it's, so you want to create, plus you need to fill time. So you want to create like this scenario where it's like, I ate too much of this and he ate too much of that. And then while we were in the kitchen of the hospital, what were you doing in the kitchen?
I know. It went on too long. It did.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying like they're still looking for more food. Like these are all good
Yes.
things, but you nailed it with the first one,
Yeah.
Because it's like Rei just woke up from a dream. She's like Sarah Connor in T2.
Yes!
She's holding on to the fence. Ah!
Oh my god, that is such a good comparison.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
Usagi's like, I had a dream. I ate a lot of ice cream. It's just
I
like,
know!
in that voice too. It's perfect. And then boom, we move on to the next part.
Well, and then
But they try to draw it out a little bit. It's cute, but it isn't as funny as that turn. That's funny.
Well, and I love too that like Rei doesn't chide her at all.
No, I think Ray's just freaked out.
Yes, it's sitting with her. You can just tell that entire scene how much is bothering her. But anyways, a mooncake is a Chinese baked good that is traditionally eaten during the Mid-Autumn Festival, and they are called Geppei in Japanese. The festival is about the lunar appreciation and moon watching, and mooncakes are regarded as a delicacy. Mooncakes are offered between friends or at family gatherings while celebrating the festival. And you've actually, I bought some at an Asian grocery store, and I shared some with you one time. It was like, I think it was actually like last year around the fall
What
festival.
flavor was it?
Kind of. So sometimes they're filled with red bean paste or lotus seed paste. So it's very small,
Yeah.
circular, and it's got like this really thin crust.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing
didn't
that
know
I
that.
didn't know because I'm a foreigner. Usually you cut them into 4 wedges and you kind of like eat them slowly with your tea,
Okay.
Instead of just like me gulping them
Just
down and
pull
like
your
2
pull your
bites.
cheeks apart and just
Yeah. Yeah, right. I was being Mamo, I guess. So, and then of
The
course
people at the hospital were so nice though.
that kitchen. Whew. And then while the Senshi are studying, they have a plate of cookies and are most likely drinking tea. And then we're moving on to villain gauge. We rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars,
boy.
5 being the most wicked. But before we talk about Mikuji, I want to talk about the bad guys in Sailor Moon S are called daemon, Daimon. And
Yes.
the scientist guy does call the egg a daimon egg. And as a side note, so the the subtitled episodes that we are watching add an H to elongate the O. And you will see this sometimes with translations into translating manga from Japanese to English. They'll add an H to elongate O's, but you would never see a syllable OH in Japanese. So that's not... Oh. It bugs me a little bit because that's not they're trying to make it easier for you to figure out how to pronounce it as an English speaker, but it is not a Japanese way of writing it, if that makes sense. It would either be written in Romanji with a second O or with a U, because a U is the character with a U that you elongate vowels with.
Okay.
So, yeah, but daimon is Daimon, is derived from ancient Greek. Daimon, or maybe I'm pronouncing the Greek wrong.
It's pronounced demon.
Okay, all right.
But it is spelled with the D and the AE combination letter.
Yes.
That we don't really, the AE vowel combination we don't use all that much anymore.
Right.
But it sometimes, because of that, it is, pronounced daemon.
Right.
To distinguish it from the idea of a Christian demon.
Right.
But it is, it said demon. It's pronounced demon.
Yeah.
Here, this is curiose aspiciens circum. That's curiously looking around in Latin. Where the noob gives you the background of Western science and philosophy.
Sure.
The idea of a daemon in ancient Greece was the idea of a spirit, generally a helpful spirit, that was often, not really the reincarnation, but the spirit of a figure, perhaps a hero or a scholar or something like that.
Okay, sure.
That could appear to you and guide you and give you advice.
Okay.
And there could be like bad daemons as well.
Sure, they could be good or bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Greek, what do you call it, like cosmology or mysticism that we don't really like learn because they're the guys that came up with the democracy and the science and all that. But yeah, they had a lot of interesting ideas about that kind of stuff. Now, of course, then eventually everybody turned Christian, right?
Yep.
And we got to get rid of that stuff.
Yep.
And so we came up with the idea of the demon, which also in European mysticism, if you're looking to magic or alchemy or something like that, a demon is also something that you could call up and it could give you knowledge. You could ask it to do things and stuff like that. This is, as far as the church is concerned, evil and black magic, but it's it's kept its meaning for the most part, but we've changed, the mythology of what it is. And also it's just all bad now in the Western Judeo-Christian tradition.
Right.
Actually, leave the Judeos out of it. It's just the Christian tradition.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah. Yeah.
Curiose aspiciens circum.
Did you look that up just now? That's amazing.
You think I don't know Latin?
No, I think
I don't know good.
You know a lot more than I think you do.
I moved in. I moved into an apartment, and the guy that moved out was apparently a grad student, and I think he moved in a hurry because he left a bunch of like his books and stuff behind.
Okay.
And he was studying Latin. He left his Latin books behind. So I just, learned some Latin.
That's kind of funny. I like that.
This was a while ago, so it's probably not very good.
I don't know about that. So yeah, the monsters that we see every week that will fight.
It's an interesting tact to take.
Yes.
Because you got to call them something.
Yes, you do.
And they've exhausted Yoma. Mm-hmm. And they don't. I think I pegged it before that they want to move outside of their ethnic mythology. Mm. Which, I mean, we've already done things about yokai and yoma and stuff like that.
Yep.
They could go forever if they wanted to in their own sandbox, but I think they want to move outside of the sandbox. Mm. And the idea that, like, we're dealing with, like, a scientific sort of villain and, like, sort of milieu, I think that's really interesting that they went to, like, antiquity to get this this idea. There's still going to be ladies with cleavage who throw things. It's going to be the same thing, but I like that they this is the sort of classification they're going with this time around.
And to be fair, this was in the manga too, so this was Nako's terminology.
Okay, but then I take back everything I said about her before.
Droid was her terminology before, so yeah. But they to be fair, the anime staff are the ones who designed a lot of the daemon that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Like the ones that were in the manga were kind of just like all the same, not really all that interesting because they, we got to keep this moving. So the story's shorter, so they're not as interesting. But yeah, we already talked about her name, so let's talk about her design. And her name is reflected in her design. On her back, the wooden box with the wooden sticks flying out, that is the o-mikuji box.
Yeah.
So that's what you would shake, and the sticks that fly out of it are the fortune-telling sticks.
Yeah.
And her earrings, I noticed this like the second time I was watching it for this episode, are bad o-mikuji because they are knotted as if they had been tied to a tree.
That's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Her ponytail, the red and white rope with the two bells attached to it, is called a suzu. So large suzu are the bells specifically, and they are at the top of a rope. And they are found at the entrances of Shinto shrines, and it is said that ringing them calls kami, allowing one to acquire positive power and authority while repelling evil.
Okay.
And I swear I've seen them like actually be red and white before, like red and white striped, or maybe I'm just thinking of how they depict them in the series. But
sure.
It seems to fit. Also, just a lot of wooden elements, her being a tree.
Yeah.
Which is great. But yeah, like there's so much wood in her design. It's just a lot of tree elements. Like her hands were like, and her were originally branches, and her feet were like originally roots.
Yeah.
And then her hair.
Yeah, she's got like a transitional form.
Yeah.
Because she turns into a tree lady, and she's like, get you, my pretty. And then she turns into like, sexy droid.
More human-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then like the hair just like on the top of her head and not the ponytail was kind of wooden. And then she's like got wood grain eyebrows. Like I wouldn't want to pluck those.
No, you just buff them.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Grind them down.
She's got wooden bracelets and anklets, and her corset or obi is wooden, and she's got wooden high heels as well. And then her outfit is colorful. It's orange and red kimono with long slits up the side, and she's got blue tights and lipstick and purple skin and pointy ears.
Sticking with those pointy ears.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And the cards again that she throws say Daikyu, which is big curse.
Big curse.
Yeah. So that's what you get. And now we're up to our rating. She is super creepy with the hands and the feet breaking off and her whole face breking off. Just holding you in place.
Let me get my face on.
Yeah, right.
Let me get my face off.
Yeah, right, exactly. Just no thanks. Just awesome character design. Just absolutely love it. Like all the tree elements, the Shinto elements, the o-mikuji. I think it's really well done. The noise that she makes is kind of like ringing the bell at the shrine. Like she moves around a little bit, and it's like kind of like the noise of so that's cool. She's super powerful, and she breaks Usagi's brooch.
Yeah.
So
that seems like a problem.
That's a problem.
She got her ass kicked by a tree monster last season.
You're right, and the tree is the one who killed
when
her.
It was time to sell a new toy.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
Yeah,
just get a tree.
Just stay away from trees.
Yeah, those tree spirits, man, they will mess you up. So I think her game is strong. I am going to give her 5 out of 5 dark stars.
Yeah, I think it's got to be 5, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah.
She's smart. She's sexy. She
Yeah.
can bring home the bacon fried up in a pan.
Yes.
She's. Sometimes we talk about how an adherence to a theme it can be too much. Barber pole lady, for instance, like it's like we get what you're doing, but like this works. You just told us all the symbolism of all the things that she's got. Like they clearly thought about it.
Yeah.
It's something that a Japanese kid would go, oh, I've been, I've gone to the shrine. I know what all this is.
Right.
And then if you're not a Japanese kid, you can learn about it on our show.
Yes.
She kicks the asses of everybody, including Tuxedo Mask.
I know.
It's kind of like, she's there to put over the two new people, right? You see this in wrestling a lot, where it's like, oh, he's taking everybody. Oh, who's this guy running in? No, it's The Rock. So I mean, that's kind of what's going on there.
You called it,
but it isn't. But it's plausible because Rei doesn't know what's going on, and she's all by herself, so she gets overpowered. Yeah. And then Usagi shows up, and she doesn't know this lady's going to bite the brooch off.
No.
And then the other girls show up, and before they even can react, they're all restrained.
Yes.
And Tuxedo Mask is just like, wait a minute, I stood on the thing, and then I jumped down, and I said, now. What? I don't know what to do after that.
There's no more pages here.
So she's strong. Yeah. She's got a great design. She's good looking. She's got a tattoo. That's cool.
Yeah, she's got a star tattoo.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to wear a high neck blouse if you're going to apply for a job. Yeah. I mean, I just like everything about her. I got to give her a 5.
Yeah.
Strong start.
Very strong start. And we will talk about Kala Knight later, who is Kaori Naito in Japanese.
Oh boy.
And I swear I hear other people talk about her as Kaori Knight.
Well, you always go like, all right, if you're going to do the R, then I guess we'll do the R because, it's an L, but we get it.
Right.
But no, we're not talking about her. We'll talk about her in the future. We
will talk about her in the future because I've got stuff to tell you about her name, but we do not have time today. Yeah. So too much. For Sabu or Dabu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub and the dub. In the dub, so there are a couple of different really important things that we've talked about that names are different in the dub, of course. In the dub, the Messiah is changed to the Chosen One. The Holy Grail is changed to Purity Force, and later, which I hate, and later Purity. Yeah. Don't even get me started. And later Purity Chalice. Better.
Worse.
Oh, worse?
Yes.
Okay.
It sounds like something you drink out of at a purity ball.
Well, Purity Force sounds
judgy.
Well, it's like with the power of abstinence. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
That's what it sounds like.
Listen up, girls.
Yeah. Daemons are called heart snatchers.
I mean, if that's what you want to do.
I did want to mention, I just remembered something. When they take Rei's talisman, or not her, she doesn't have a talisman. When they take her pure heart, I always think of it as, what I've interpreted it as, and I might be wrong, is that it's like
soul.
Exactly. It's like taking your soul. So she's not dead, but she's like
the soul
effectively
takers,
dead. I don't know.
Heartbreakers, soul takers.
Because they talk about a pure heart, so then it's heart snatchers.
They're children, but they're humans. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
I don't want to talk about this purity talk. Come on.
I know. And then talismans are referred to as...
Actually, they're not children in Japan. They're adults.
They're young
Just
girls.
about, yeah.
Yeah. Talismans are referred to as pure hearts with objects of pure power. Too wordy, guys.
Clean.
No.
Real clean.
No. In the scene when Usagi and Rei bump into each other in the dub, Rei says, "Oh, relax, Serena. Everybody knows you're the bomb with lots of other good qualities."
Yeah! Woo!
Told ya. Because that's how kids talk. I mean, this came out in like mid-2000 in America. I don't think it was cool then.
Was it? I could see Seth Green saying that somebody was the bomb. If you want these characters to talk like his character from Can't Hardly Wait, then we're all set.
Oh my god.
I think we've got it.
All right. Well,
they're totally tubular.
Right. What? Anyways, in the dub, the scene where Mikuji opens her shirt so her star tattoo can pull out Rei's pure heart, the animation is enlarged and shortened to avoid showing her cleavage.
Yeah, there's a surprising amount of underboob in this episode.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that.
Suddenly the Bare Naked Ladies song makes a little more sense.
Oh, God. All right, moving on. In the scene where Usagi is talking to Luna when they are on their way to Hikawa Shrine, Serena says, Luna, you're really tripping when it comes to knowing what's on a girl's mind.
Yes! Come on, you're a fly honey.
What the hell? So, anyways, in the original, Mikuji grabs Usagi with her hair and throws her into a wall. In the dub, Usagi hitting a wall is cut. So we see her getting thrown, but we don't see her hitting anything.
Right. It's violent in the episode.
It is.
Yeah.
It's meant to be. But
and she's like got the wind knocked out of her for a little bit.
Yeah. In the dub, Moon Princess Halation was changed to Moon Scepter Elimination.
Why not?
I don't know. In the dub, the scene where Artemis and Luna hit the trees after attacking Mikuji was cut. Yeah. So we don't see them hitting the trees. So now for trivia. This episode is the last time Sailor Moon transforms using Moon Crystal Power makeup, and the last time she utilizes the Crystal Star and Moon Princess Halation. I think that's made pretty clear.
Moon capitalist scheme activate.
Yeah, wow, I know. How are we going to sell more toys? This episode is the last time that Sailor Moon wears her original tiara with the red gem in the middle. So
okay, she's just gonna go bareheaded from now on.
No, do you want spoilers?
No, I know I'll know eventually. Let me have some fun.
Okay, all right. It changes.
Oh, okay.
She still has a tiara, but it changes. It
she
looks
wears
different.
a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm not gonna throw it against a wall again.
This episode was cut from the Korean dub.
Why?
My guess, it was too Japanese.
Yeah.
So they cut it.
Not that Shinto stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And now
they want the Christian stuff.
Yeah. Not the Shinto stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get to your request that you made at the very beginning.
Yes, I didn't. It wasn't until like the second, because I watched the episode to just get into it, and then later on I watch it, and slow down and try to pick everything out. Yeah. And so the second time I watched it, I was like, I should read Usagi's test. What's she? Oh, she's doing English. She said, "What is going on?"
I know. So I'm not exactly sure how we. Do you want me to read the whole thing and then break it down? Or
yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. So she is. This is one of the questions that we can see the most, and it says visibly on there. One day, Mr. Ikuhara went to Roppongi to do nanpa. He was
wait, hold on. Wait.
We'll get to it.
Okay, all right.
He was tired after a big work. So he applied for comfort to any tender girl, but he was caught to new half.
The police arrived. New half? What?
We will get to it. So, Tuxedo Unmasked, who has a great site I'm
always tired after a big work.
I know. He breaks it all down. So first of all, this is referring to Kuniko Ikuhara, who was the season director for Sailor Moon S. He also was the season director for R. He took over from episode 60, which is when Chibiusa arrived to 89. And then he also was the season director for Super S as well. But I'm assuming this is kind of like the showrunner. So he's in charge of the anime as a whole. Yeah. And this was done by the animation staff as kind of like a joke. And I don't think that he knew about it, but it's referring to him. But so nanpa basically means to flirt or pick up girls. And it gets a little worse than that. So it is sometimes referred to as girl hunting. And
the most dangerous game.
Yeah. It can be directed to just one person in particular. But it is...
Ray would say Mackin.
Mackin? Yeah, I know, right? You just say whatever, Ray. That's cool. But it kind of has like this connotation of just standing around in a busy area, just like hitting on whatever woman is going to walk past.
Yeah.
And trying to get a date.
Yeah, women love that.
Yeah, I know, right? So not weird at all. So
Roppongi is like a nightclub area,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
It's a nightclub area.
This is the sleaziest short story I have ever read.
I know. And I don't think he would have appreciated this. But anyway. So, according to Tuxedo Unmasked, apply for comfort is it's not as horrible as you think it is. It's most likely in Japanese the phrase iyashi o motemoru, which or to seek comfort in. So, wanting anybody to help you make you feel better.
Right, but isn't like part of... Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe all the German that I learned in high school, I'd go to Germany and they'd be like, but like, isn't part of learning the language colloquialism and parlance?
Yes.
So like, no, if you went to like a nightclub in America and you're like, I'd like to apply for comfort with you. You're gonna get slapped.
Right. You are absolutely
You're learning
right.
Nothing.
That is, you are not incorrect about that, sir.
I can't wait for season 5 when our girls go out manhunting.
Oh my gosh! And then like she's
Roppongi's right next to Azubu.
I know, and like Manhunter just plays in the background. Anyways, and then I guess so. As the story advances, he finds out that the girl is a new half, and this is okay. So this was in the early '90s in Japan, but I don't like this terminology.
Here we go.
But it is essentially a Japanese word for men who portray themselves as women. So it is a early mid '90s term for trans women.
Oh no!
Which I freaking hate. I don't think it aged well.
Okay,
at all.
I don't know. I don't hate new half. There's always a term that literally means
Could be
like
worse,
to us,
I guess.
because us like trans means across or
right.
changing, right?
Yeah.
And so like transsexual is like, okay, that's a Latin word for what this thing is, but they don't have our romance traditions in language, and so they're like. New half, you know what I mean? Like I see where the formation comes from. I don't like it clearly being the butt of a joke.
That's what yeah, exactly. I know this is 1994, but
yeah. Well, yeah, I know this is
not great.
Yeah, this is a Tone Loc song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my kid's cartoon.
Yeah,
look it up, kids.
I don't love it. So
wow, you really saved the best for last.
I'm sorry,
Brought
I
it
didn't
crashing
mean
down.
to, but it's right at the end.
What are they teaching these kids?
I know. Anyways,
Mr. Teacher is got to get him out of there.
I know.
Get a new English teacher.
No, exactly.
What happened to tests? He went to the biblioteca.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand it either. But yeah, I do love how next to Usagi's name, she did draw a little bunny face with a heart because that's gonna help her get a better test score.
Yeah.
5.
I think Roppongi means 6 trees, so maybe they're just trying to continue the tree theme that we see.
Oh, that's a good point.
No,
maybe.
I don't want to help them out.
I think it might. I mean, I think it also probably just fits in because it is known for being a nightclub.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I went there, it was known for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where you went to go.
You're going out for some nanpa.
I know. Oh, did I? Yeah, nanpa. Which is just, oh my god, it just some girl hunting.
But there is like a girl version of nanpa, isn't there?
Oh god, you would ask me that. I don't know the answer to that question.
Gyakunan.
Okay.
Is when Japanese women pursue men in a fashion similar to nanpa.
There you go. So, I don't know. Maybe there's not a lot of nanpa happening right now because no babies.
Yeah.
But Or it's not working. I don't know.
Or maybe no. So that's the thing, though. There's the stock character of the sexually aggressive woman, right?
Yes.
Which here would either be in a Western entertainment would either be like thumbs up, or it'd be like, get this girl off of me, right?
Yeah.
But in Japan, it's all bad, right?
Yeah.
Because a Japanese man doesn't want to be approached like that generally.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
Justice for gyakunan, that's what I say. Hashtag.
There you go. Now we are up to our rating. I like that we see a different side of Rei in this episode. I think she's a lot kinder to Usagi, and I know why. But I also think it's interesting for her to have such a horrible premonition and then not share it with the team.
Well, it's the first episode.
I know, but I think she also was enjoying them just kind of having a normal moment, and she didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Usagi is somehow doing worse on her tests, which is hilarious, but makes me worried for her, especially with her high school entrance exams coming up, which we will talk about more on another show. I love that we briefly meet the new bad guys and some other mysterious figures. Mikuji is really strong, memorable, and her just a really well designed. I think there's some good comedic bits in it too. Mako's face in the background as she asks Ami for help on a math question, as while Rei is still thinking about this horrible dream, is just amazing. Even though Rei is just devastated, it's amazing. And then Mamo coming up behind Usagi and finishing her thought about what he would say out loud was really great too. Even though what you said, maybe have them have an actual couples time besides their one date we saw them have.
Well, if this is Tuesday, maybe they'll see each other over the weekend. Yeah.
But anyways, I feel really strongly about this episode. I know it's the first one, but I feel like I'm going to regret it if I don't do this. So I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 roses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this episode, we set the stakes.
Yep.
And the stakes are high.
Very high.
Immediately. There are moments of comedy. There are moments of this dramatic irony that you pointed out, because we know what Rei knows, but the rest of the Senshi don't know this.
Yes.
There's all these, I don't know, maybe I just made them up in my mind, but I think there's all these great parallels in what's going on in the story, these matches between, I don't know, tests and test tubes. Maybe that's a little too English, but I feel like there's the storytelling the script knows what it's doing, and it's going from place to place, and it's building connections between what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. We meet new villains who are mysterious, but are definitely tough and dangerous already. There's a threat there.
Yeah.
Plus, like you said, we're seeing an entirely new side to Rei. We're getting a chance to, examine. If I didn't know better, I'd be worried about her not being around at the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that you set up where we're looking for a messiah here to stop an apocalypse. How does that happen? Uh-huh. Somebody's, the thing about a messiah, they tend to get crucified, right?
Well, yeah.
So putting it that threat there, seeing that she, has this power and ability and this responsibility that goes beyond, the normal Senshi. That's just great. Plus, it isn't all gloom and doom. They're hitting their comedy beats as well as they ever have. Mm-hmm. You got the Looney Tunes stuff in there, but yet the haunting sort of vision that Rei keeps having. It's just it's one of everything. It's a 5. There's no way it's not a 5.
Right? Yeah.
And it's funny because I went back to our reviews of episode 1 of Sailor Moon R.
Yeah.
And we both gave the villain a 2. I gave the show a 3 and you gave it a 2. So we're already light years ahead of where we started at the beginning of the last season of the show. Mm-hmm. So it's all good from here, right?
Gosh, I hope so.
Don't say that. You know what's going to happen when you say that. But what a way to start. Start with a bang.
It's a really good way to start. And my English title is Waking Nightmare. Such sights.
Such sights. Oh my God.
That's for Cal.
Oh my God, no. That's an isekai we don't want.
Yeah, it is.
I had a task before me here because we are now in the Cloverway
correct
era.
Oh, this has got to be a Cloverway
And I,
title
without,
now.
spoiling anything, I had to kind of like peruse some of their titles and get a feel for how their titles work.
Sure.
As opposed to the Deke dub. As we know, I forgot the exact number, but it was like 5 or 6 X blues.
Oh God, yes.
So there is a blues in this season, but but it's only one. It isn't just, I don't know, skating blues.
I feel like most of them with Deke were in the first season too.
Yeah. Maybe they got a little better as it went, but so I tried to get an idea of like how I would change from my Deke title to my Cloverway title, and it seems like from what I saw, and this is ironic for something that we talked about with your formation of your titles, it seems like a lot of adjective noun. Not uncreatively necessarily, but it's like they're just saying, look, this is a something something. And that's fine.
How do you think I got the idea?
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Well, I wasn't necessarily from Cloverway, but
And so it's either that or they're using a lot of cliches.
Okay.
Like a saying, an aphorism,
Okay.
and just delivering it, not saying like, a stitch in time saves Luna. They're just like,
Sure.
stitch in time saves 9. Because maybe there's 9 something in the thing. So they're catching up to me. They're starting to think about it the way that I think about it a little bit. Like what's going on in this episode. Also, there's a couple song titles, I think. There's an episode called People Who Need People. It's like, what?
Okay.
So it seems a little more sophisticated than Deke, but yet it's less sweaty than Deke, but sometimes sweat means you're working. I feel like maybe these are a little more, that's what it is. Get out of here. Here's People Who Need People. That's what it is. It's a little more confident, but maybe not quite as creative. We'll see.
Okay.
So I had to try to fit my new titles to that. I looked around. You have to go with what's in the episode, right?
Yes.
And remark on that, but also talk about, what's it about? What's happening? Where's it going? And then maybe a little cliche or maybe a little, phrase, aphorism, something we recognize as well. Mm-hmm. And so I came up with pure heart or bust.
Oh my God. You did not.
Is there too much underboob in the episode?
Is there too much underboob in your
There's
title?
a lot of tits in the episode.
Yeah, I know.
Will this amount of tits continue? I'm asking for a friend.
Well,
he's a singer for the Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh my God. So next episode, we are talking about episode number 91. I no Rodo Tanjo, Usagi no Shin Henshin in Japanese. The Rod of Love is born. Usagi's new transformation, the English translation, and the English title, Crystal Clear Again. So, I mean...
Sho, you're going to put me out of a job. You think you can do this better than me, Sho? Challenge accepted.
Well, but
I'll take your Rod of Love. Give it to me.
That is the English translation. The Cloverway title is Crystal Clear Again.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, I know. Cloverway, you're not even in this fight.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Make me feel bad for underboob. You just watch. You just watch what I do.
Oh my God. Watch what we do. Follow us on social media on Instagram and Twitter at noob_sailor and on Facebook at Sailor Noob and Tumblr at, gosh, what are we at Tumblr? I think you just Sailor Noob. Yeah.
Do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe join our Discord too.
That'd be great.
Why not?
Yeah.
Let us know what you've got going on. Let us know if you have our listeners been to Japan. Like, tell us about your experiences
tell us about
in
your
Japan. We want to hear about that. Yeah,
absolutely.
And what your experiences are with mikuji
Yeah.
and shrines and things like that.
Did you?
How long was that line? You waited in line a long time. Apparently.
Well, sometimes you can. Yeah. Let us know. And that's our show for this week. And the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
You're the bomb, Serena.